WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, reviewing often rare and exotic whiskeys, well, single cask from a German independent bottler. This is from the Caskhound Thilo Schnabel, and Thilo has decided to often put either castles or nice little cute animal cartoons on his bottles. Well, why? Because that is not very risky. What is risky is to put maybe a samurai on the bottle, because either you get in trouble with the people from Japan or you get in trouble with people who say violence. And there's all these different reasons for all these different bottles to have all these different excuses to not have that type of label. But who can have something against such a cute little animal? There's raccoons, there's been tiny little groundhogs, there's been birds, there's been all types of different animals here. So this is his Animals of Scotland series. He did the Castles of Scotland and so on. This is a Secret Speyside. Ooh, what distillery is actually being hidden here? According to one of the press releases, even Thilo himself does not know. Now, I understand that that is possible, but still, deep down in my heart, I still think this bottle was distilled in 2007. On the, at least it was bottled. It was barreled. I'm sorry, it was barreled on the 7th of November 2007. Now, Her Majesty, what was Her Majesty Tax Agency, whatever they're called in Scotland, they had paperwork on that cask. Now, that was sold to someone else who sold it then to Thilo. There might have been one or two other middlemen in between. I don't know. That you could maybe actually apply to find out the paper trail there, but he definitely does not have the rights of the name, for the name to put it on the bottle, so why? This was bottled on the 1st of May 2024, so not that long ago. It did expend its entire 16 years in a Bourbon Hogshead. Cask number 5, 318 bottles. Now, that means that a normal hogshead is around 250 liters. This had 222 liters. So it basically lost 28 liters in 16 years. The Angels were not that greedy, is all I have to say. 54.8% ABV, and this has a whiskey-based number of 258319. Now, I'm going to compare it with one of my favorite single bottle bottlings in the last couple of 2 years basically. It is called Ease. This is from a German shop in Frankfurt called Whiskey for Life. The guy who owns is Frank Jäger, and this is a Glengarry. This is from 2011 in cooperation with Signatory Vintage. This has 59.8%. It's only 11 years old, if I do my math correctly. Yes, it's 11 years old basically. Called it Ease. They have bees. It's very honey-like. I love this bottle. This bottle costs 79 euros and is still available. So there were 228 bottles. Wait a second. Whiskey base number 216515, 237. So over here we have 318. By the way, they're basically all sold out. So Thilo, with his casks, the Caskhound label has a fairly large, at least in Germany and in Europe, a fan base that just buys up his bottles. And that's great. So 99 euros, 79 euros. 11 years of age, 16 years of age. Is that extra 5 years really worth the extra 20 euros? I'm going to have to see. I still think this bottle should go for 79 euros. I think I still live in 2020. I live like 4 years in the past with my pricing of whiskey. Who knows? Now on the nose. Okay. Speyside. It's more of a spring type of whiskey, vanilla. I get maybe jasmine, honey, and a tiny little bit of oak spice on there. Over here, I have a lot more. I really enjoy this a lot. So this is very, very good. So I'm going to read the official tasting notes here from Thilo himself. All right. They're translated, and I'll see if the translation's halfway good. So to start with, a fine, almost wine-like acidity. that seems light and summery fresh. Then we are surrounded by the creamy sweetness of honey wine and some sparkling fizzy powder, followed by fruit punch with exotic canned fruit, wine gummies, floral notes, marzipan, cream toffee, and a few fresh apple slices. Now that translated very well, and most of the things I can say yes. I've never had, have I had honey wine? Is this med? I mean, is that honey wine? All right, good. All right, let's try this. So I do like the color of both of these bottles. They're both natural color, but see, look at this. The Hogshead is darker than the, this is a bourbon barrel. Now this has been used a few times. This was not a first fill bourbon barrel, and this was a bourbon Hogshead. So usually, in old days, they would take they would take 5 bourbon barrels. You raise a barrel. So what do you do when you tear it down? And they would make out of those 5 bourbon barrels 4 hogsheads. So take 200 liters, make them into 250. You have to make new heads and bottoms, put it together, and then you fill it up. Why? So you can actually have less wood contact while maturing so that the whiskey can stay in the barrel longer. The smaller the barrel, the more surface to liquid ratio, and the quicker the faster the whiskey absorbs wood tannins. I didn't say matures quicker. Absorbs wood tannins. And the bigger the casks, a sherry butt, 500 liter, takes longer. All right, so this was 250, so half of that. All right, and this, by the way, the Ease has Whiskybase 216615. And as I mentioned already here, we have Whiskybase number 258319. Cheers. The acidity is not really, for me, that prominent. There's some wood spice. There's a little bit of alcohol bite. The very first time I had it was like, oh, is that a independently bottled Glenfiddich? Or is it an independently bottled Balvenie, which is Burnside? There is a little bit of lemon peel going on in here. I'm going to continue reading what Thilo said about this. He wrote down as tasting notes, soft and creamy, sweet start with lots of toffee and spice. Then the sparkling freshness of peach punch becomes noticeable. I don't think I've ever had peach punch. To be replaced by dry oak spice, yes. The fruitiness of Mirabella plums, maybe. Granny Smith apples and pear slices with chocolate shavings. I don't get the shavings, sorry. Finally, aromatic notes of herbal honey drops. Okay, great. The finish is long and warming with delicate spice, chocolate shavings, and a hint of fruit and dry, slightly bitter oak notes. I think that's a very fair assessment there. It's interesting. Whiskybase says between 87 and 83. Everyone just, it's good whiskey. It's not great whiskey. It's not bad whiskey. It's good whiskey. And I would give it actually a B-, C+. Now, the value for money, it's more of a C-. As I said, I would try this whiskey before I buy it. I bought it and I did a bottle share. It's all gone, so I'm happy about that. It's a good whiskey. I don't really get the 16 years. I put some water in my German video. It helped it a little bit. It does get a tiny little bit of a mineral note in there, almost chalky. Got a good flavor. Now, the thing is, every time I try this, I remember what this tastes like, and this was so much better. If you can find an independently bottled Hogshead bourbon barrel Glengarry at cask strength, buy it. Not the sherry stuff. The sherry stuff, you're going to get some sulfur, and they have some weird, funky casks for those. But those bourbon barrels, if you can find an independently bottled, maybe SMWS, maybe here, different independent bottlers. We're spoiled for choice in Germany with independent bottlers. I'm an independent bottler. I own 14 different casks, and I bottle maybe 2 or 3 casks a year at the moment. I'm an independent bottler. Doesn't mean much, all right? So other people are, if you Go to the online Scotch Whisky Awards, the Oswald's Signatory Vintage. They're an independent bottler. They bottle like like, I don't know, let's say 6, 7, 10 bottlings a week. That's 300, 500 bottlings a year. That's a bottler, all right? Gordon MacPhail, independent bottler. And some other ones. Thompson Brothers are a distillery that at the moment are more independent bottlers. So let's try this and just watch me just feel happy and warm inside when I take my sip of this. That's some good stuff. So much more complexity, so much more depth, so much to unpack. This was simple. This is like talking to someone with a normal IQ, and this is like talking with someone with 140 IQ. And so it's like, okay, slow down. I need a little bit of time. I need to digest. And that's what this is. And this is what I love. All right. So I hope that analogy helped you a little bit. So my question of the day is, what is your favorite independently bottled secret something? Secret Highlands, Secret Orkney, Secret Speyside, Secret Lowlands, Secret something. What do you like? So, and the next thing is, beside animals and castles, what other motives can you put on labels that are not risky? That's actually a good question. I like that one. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others, and sharing this video. I'll see you real soon here. Bye-bye.